In a previous video, I had discussed creating solos, but keeping horizontal movement in mind very clearly. I had worked out the guitar solo by only at first using half notes, thinking about how they're going to connect and move horizontally instead of just having a vertical perspective on it. And then I filled in the notes later on. So I used those half notes as a melodic framework in order to be able to flesh it out later, but to make sure I have strong connecting notes and a strong horizontal motion. In this example or discussion, I want to look at another way to develop melodies or solos using maybe the perspective of a collection of notes and then applying them to rhythm. So instead of it just being half notes and it being one note after the other and thinking about how they're connecting horizontally, I'm going to play a chord and I'm going to think a bit about what collections of notes are going to sound pretty nice against that chord. So we're just looking at a variety of different ways that we can compose or improvise. I'm moving away from writing this on my instrument because I want to be able to take some more time to contemplate the moves, the options I have. A lot of times when the instrument is in our hands, we will play what we're most comfortable with and what's freshest in memory, partly just due to it feeling like time is moving by really quick, and it's a bit of a defense mechanism in order to make sure that we play something that sounds good. We're a lot less likely to take time to really consider our options. We're writing it out with pencil and manuscript paper, or I'm using Dorico right now. It gives us some time to approach it from a couple different perspectives, and it is good to approach from a couple different perspectives, particularly if you're looking to create variation in your sound or grow, right? That way we're able to not step into repetitive patterns that we've been doing. With this example, you can see right now over here we have a C minor major 7th sharp 11th chord. This is a film noir type piece and really using a lot of these minor major 7ths and strong dissonant tensions on top of it for drama, right, for dramatic effect. Well, I didn't worry about the rhythm in this. I was really just trying to pick out movement of notes that I liked and a shape. This isn't just straight using modes. I actually am using some chromatic movement in here. As you can see, we're moving chromatically down to G, right? Actually, to F sharp, right? So it's a dissension, a chromatic dissension, and then we're going to do a skip of a major third down to D, which is the 9th of C minor major 7 sharp 11. The second half of the measure is just another phrase I was kind of working with. I liked these combinations of notes and this shape movement. Again, this is a framework. What's really going to happen when I work this out, I'm going to add syncopation, and some of these notes are going to last longer than others. There may be a rest or some space between the notes. I'm going to apply rhythm to it and actually really start to use it. But just to get the notes in, I use 16th notes just so I didn't have to worry about running out of space between the second bar, even though I only ended up using the first bar. And here's another phrase. I just like the sound of using upper structures over this chord, and so I found one that worked and some movement. And I did the same thing on this next bar, right? So this is a C minor major 7 flat 13th. You see that we start on the flat 13th, right? The high peak is going to be on the 5th of the chord. Then we're going to descend down to the tonic of the chord, the root. And this is an upper structure too. This is an A flat major 7th triad, or it's not triad actually. It's a major 7th chord. It has 4 notes in it. But I'm playing that on top of the C minor major 7th, which is going to bring out the flat 13th, the tonic, the flat 3, and then the 5th, right? And then we have a 4/3 suspension there essentially, and back down to the tonic. Anyway, the main point is that I just found something I liked, and I was able to maybe assess that, oh, I like the sound of upper structures in this. Maybe I should explore that more and make that I don't know, maybe somewhat of a theme for this solo. I used it a couple of times, and I also tried another idea. And the point here is that we're farming for ideas, right? And in the end, I may decide to develop this upper structure concept more. Here, I'm trying a different idea. And I have this phrase. We start on the flat 7th. It goes to the flat 13th. So we see there's a flat 13th listed in the chord. Then I'm going to go to the 5th and back up to the flat 7th. We have this movement that happens here, right? Right? And the only thing I did is I just moved the phrase the third time it's repeated. I moved it up a half step, and then I moved it down again, right? This is called side slipping. And you can take a motive or a phrase, and you can move it up a half step, down a half step, up a whole step, down a whole step. You're just shifting it on either side of where the main phrase is. And it creates some variety because our ears still hear the relative distance between the intervals, but it sounds otherworldly or a little bit alien, a little bit foreign to us. And then when it comes back to the original, that tension is released. So it's a nice effect to take the same rhythm and the same chromatic intervallic movement and just shift it, right? What I would suggest doing is to sit at a piano, and this is an organ solo, so I can't really say it's like not at the instrument, but I'm not improvising in the moment. I'm just holding a chord down, and I'm just going to shift over here to the piano for a second, and I'm just going to say I'm playing a C minor major 7th chord right now, right? And then I might think of the different modes that work on top of that, right? And I could just play the melodic minor, right? Right? And then I might find like a combination of notes. Okay, well, maybe I like that movement, right? The contour of that, the shape of it. I like the notes. And what I might do then is I'm going to write that out, and then I'm going to think about how I could phrase it so it just doesn't sound so square, right? Try doing this, and even if it's on the instrument you play, I know I'm saying getting away from your instrument, but even if you're sitting down and doing it slow, the key is that you're just only focusing on pitches at that moment, not rhythmic phrasing, just to find a collection of notes that you like, and then we're going to apply rhythm to it. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about actually starting with rhythm as our basis for improvisation and melodic development, and then applying pitches later, which is something that Dizzy Gillespie was a big fan of and believed in. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me at anatomyoftone.com. I'm always there for discussion and to answer any questions. I also teach Zoom lessons for music composition, music theory, electric acoustic guitar and a variety of styles, electric bass, drums, recording and engineering and production.